Listening to chartingwealth.com for Wednesday, the 19th of August, 2015. We're going to start with IYY, which is our total market. It's an index fund, which means it tracks a basket of stocks. Now, we have drawn a trend line that has been breached over the last candle. And again, we always start with the 2-day chart. That's our big chart. And the chart has been flipping back and forth. Our usually dependable MACD is not working very well right now. Why? Well, because we have a sliding sideways market. Very hard to chart. So what do you do when that's happening? Here's the lesson. You don't trade that market. When you see one that's going flip-flopping sideways with your MACD running back and forth until you get a good definite MACD signal line crossing that you can count on, you don't lose your shirt. Here's what we have. We have a crossover over the last couple of days going up. We do have a breach of the 2-day trend line, not much of a trend line that had been going down several prior days. If we drop back to the 4-hour chart, what do we see? We see that the movement is above that 2-day trend line. However, it doesn't look that strong. If we look back in our charts to the last time we saw spinning tops, we saw one on the 5th of August, and we saw one back on the 31st of July. What happened after those spinning tops? The market went down. The market now has gone up and has a spinning top as it closed this afternoon. So let's pay attention and see what happens. Remember, backtracking in the chart, typically what you've seen most recently may be indicative of what you see now. Again, that doesn't always hold, but that's why we backtrack to see what does work and what doesn't. When things don't work anymore, you forget about them. Now, let's continue to look at other things in the market. That is where IYY is. SPY is going to be a little bit similar. IYY was down today, the total market 0.22%. S&P 500, which is represented by SPY, another index fund, is down 0.29%. We have drawn a little up candle here, did cross over a little bit going up as of the candle on the 18th of August. If we drop back to our 4-hour chart, what do we see? We see the same kind of little telltale sign. We see a spinning top contained within the movement of the prior green candle in the morning of the 18th. And if we look back, we see the same kind of thing happening in the afternoon on the 5th of August, and we see the same kind of thing happening in the afternoon of the 31st of July. So again, if the pattern repeats itself, there may be a down move there. Let's just pay attention to it. We are technically in an up move on the long chart. So again, be careful considering getting into a move at this point going up. Could be a mistake. Now, and again, we're talking about virtual trading because we don't give you advice. We're not a stock calling service. We're an education company. Now, let's look at the Qs, the cubes, QQQ. What do we see going on there? Well, we have drawn a trend line. Looks like it's still pretty much working, going down. Crossover going down on the Qs back on the 10th. It is still in play. If we drop back from the 2-day to the 4-hour chart, what do we see? Today, technically, the market was down 0.15%. We see down move in the morning, and then we see a cross, what we call a doji, which means lots of indecision. Technically, the 4-hour chart is moving up. It is losing momentum on the derivative oscillator, and it appears that the MACD and the signal line looks like they're getting closer. They're converging somewhat, but again, we don't have any definite call there. We have a push through on the 4-hour chart, and we just want to continue to monitor that as things move forward. Again, on the 2-day chart, it looks like it's still within those realms, so perhaps the market's going to keep going down on the Qs. Lastly, we're on the 2-day chart. Let's look quickly at gold. We've been charting gold in its up moves. Gold has continued to move up since it crossed over on the 10th, moving up on the 2-day chart. It's continued to track up. About time for gold to do that, isn't it? Let's look at the 4-hour chart. We can see that gold has been moving sideways for the last several days. All the trading has been within the range of the afternoon candle on the 12th, Wednesday the 12th, last Wednesday. So how long will this go on? Will it go on for over a week? Let's watch it. If gold pushes through the 2-day trend line, then you want to pay attention. It sure is long in the tooth as far as this drive up goes and how long it has been moving on the 4-hour chart. So pay attention to it. Actually, the 4-hour chart has been a pretty good chart. If you traded just the 4-hour chart in gold, you would have been doing pretty well all the way back to, gosh, my word, all the way back. Well, there's a bit of a time period in the month of July where it got a little bit questionable, but you can go way back on this chart and find that the 4-hour chart, again, using backtracking like we like to do, it's been a pretty good chart. So watch what the 4-hour chart in particular in gold does in relation to the 2-day trend line and in relation to whether or not it rolls over and starts some more down moves. Folks, that's where the markets ended on Tuesday the 18th as we get ready to go into Wednesday the 19th. Hope that you're having a great week trading, investing, practicing, whatever you may be doing. Please make sure to join us on Facebook and Twitter. We love to hear from you. You can also follow us on Instagram, chartingwealth.com. That's who we are, and that's what we're all about.